Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Jerm here, as you guys can see up on the screen. Today I want to talk a little bit about Palantir Technologies Incorporated. This is ticker symbol PLTR, and this, ever since it IPO'd, has been one of the most popular retail stocks on the market. I mean, this thing really came out of the gate swinging. After IPOing around $9, this thing exploded up all the way to 52-week highs of $45. Now, it did kind of trade flat for a while, trading between this like $20 to $30 range for a while. We since have broken out of that. We've broken below that, and from like November onwards, we're down 47%. This has been a little bit rough for Palantir Technologies, but this is what the graph looks like for a lot of stocks. A lot of stocks did very, very well over 2020. Very, very well into 2021. A lot of them were trading very rich. A lot of them were, projecting and pricing in a ton of future growth, a ton of awesome numbers. And right now, especially over the past couple of weeks, really once 2022 kicked off for the most part, the market's really started to flip. Things are looking rough all over the place. Tons of stocks are starting to tank. And yes, today was overall a rough day in the markets for Palantir, being down 7.42%. And year to date, 2022 has also been rough for Palantir. I think there's been one single green day for Palantir stock where they were up 2.36% on January 11th. Other than that, I think there's been nothing but red, which is tough. But again, looking at the overall markets, Dow Jones down 1.3%, S&P down almost 1.9%, NASDAQ down over 2.7%, Russell down almost 1.8%. All the indices are down. The market's hurting. Things are rough. And obviously, when indices are down, you expect stocks, especially highly volatile, highly speculative growth companies like Palantir, to be underperforming the market. Just like when the market's hot, they tend to overperform the market. So this has got a lot of people wondering, hey, is it time to buy the Palantir dip? Is it time to get involved with a stock like this? Should we start looking at this? Because there's a ton of people that have $20, $22, $25, $30, cost basis for a stock like Palantir. And if they love the stock at 20, 22, 25, 28, 30, whatever, well, now it's at 13. And there's a lot of people that are hurting. There's a lot of people that are down 30, 40, 50% of the stock right now. And they're like, damn, is it time to sell out? This sucks. This isn't what I was hoping for. I heard Palantir was going to the moon. I heard this is how I could get rich quick. This is how I can make a bunch of money. But then there's other group of people like, damn, I can get $13 Palantir. That's pretty exciting. That's pretty awesome. So in this video today, I wanted to go over just kind of what some people overall in the market are saying about Palantir, what analysts are saying, what, some experts are saying, what writers are saying about this stock overall, and what maybe, you should kind of think about it. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content, and consider checking out the first link in the description below for the Patreon, an awesome way to help support my channel and my content. Of course, no financial advice in this video. I'm not telling you that you should or shouldn't buy. I'm not telling you that you should sell. I'm not telling you to put your life savings into Palantir. Nothing like that. Just going over, news with the stock, what's going on, what people are saying, and giving you kind of a starting point to maybe dive into the company yourself. Do your own research. Figure out what you want to do and what fits, your personal goals and risk tolerance and everything for your own self. Because obviously I can't do that. But yeah, so here we go. Why are Palantir shares down today? This was an article from the Motley Fool trying to help explain the situation a little bit. They do say here, so what? Palantir is a stock that has been moving in conjunction with the NASDAQ. Again, that's what a lot of, tech, high growth, speculative retail companies have been doing recently. When the NASDAQ's up, they're up massive. When the NASDAQ's down, they're down massive. So yes, NASDAQ was down pretty big today. Palantir's down even bigger. That's not a crazy concept to understand. Perhaps it's no surprise that the stock got off to a bad start on Friday morning as the broader market traded down. Palantir in particular was hit by a Dutch bank analyst, Brad Zelnick, lowering his price target on the stock to $18 from $25. But, on the bright side, hey, we're at $13.5 right now. 18, that's like a 40% gain from here. That's not nothing. That's not anything insignificant. So, hey, I mean, if this thing's going back to 18, that wouldn't be the end of the world. That'd be kind of cool. So yes, it sucks that it got downgraded. And yes, that hurts overall. And yes, that's negative and bearish and all this stuff. And being down 7.5% today sucks. And after hours, we're down even more. But hey, this guy has a price target of $18. He didn't say 12, he didn't say 10, he didn't say 8. Zelnick right now is keeping a hold rating on the shares. Says he's overall bullish on software stocks, but in a note says he has a healthy respect for the macroeconomic sentiment. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Another big thing was that we had Palantir CEO Alex Karp did an interview, discussion, whatever you want to call it, with Kevin Warsh of Stanford University. And this is always really, really cool, when you get to hear about, when you get to hear from the CEO of the company. That's like the best person getting information right from their mouth. And something they talked about, obviously a whole interview. We can't play the whole thing. We're not going to play a bunch of clips and stuff, but there is kind of a TLDW in the comment section. A lot to unpack here, but Mr. Karp talks about the increasingly chaotic world, saying he sees the world as more chaotic, even as governments and institutions try to paper over major looming problems and pretend that everything will be okay. The pandemic's just the latest example. I think a lot of people would agree with that. It's not that crazy of a statement to most. Institutional legitimacy is in crisis. He talks about how the inability of governments and private enterprise to respond effectively to chaos is eroding public trust. He describes himself as a progressive, and he believes that societal cohesion depends on both functioning institutions and public trust in those institutions. Palantir's role in addressing this chaotic world where institutional competence is in question, kind of bringing together those past two statements, yeah, he said that stuff, but what's the point? And he gives businesses and governments the tools to navigate and succeed in a chaotic world that is becoming unhinged. That is Palantir's goal. That is where, the CEO believes Palantir fits into this equation. And, if the world is so chaotic, if there is so much distrust and misinformation, all this stuff, he's claiming that, hey, that's a great environment for Palantir to potentially be very, very useful, very, very successful, and very, very profitable in as well. So, this shouldn't scare away people. This should maybe get people excited. Does talk a little bit about selling Palantir software. Palantir's challenge that they are building software that they believe their clients are going to need tomorrow. How do you get institutions to adopt software that they will understand tomorrow much better than they do today? This is partly what the Palantir's Builder program and free data unlocking programs are about, spreading the knowledge of the product. Also offering Foundry, one of their flagship products, components independently. Foundry has around 400 major components, and customers may not need all of them. So making it more accessible, making it easier to understand, hey, here's what you need. Here's what's going to be useful to you. Here's going to be the most bang for your buck. And give us some of your money at least, and we'll give you the most, efficient returns on that money. Palantir's culture of innovation. Main goals are to keep the culture focused on technical problem solving and inspiring engineers to build the best products in the world. Karp said that leadership is important, particularly in convincing and inspiring top engineering talent to develop what the consumers need. Engineers who develop without guidance will create amazing products with low total addressable markets, which I think is a very, pretty thoughtful and pretty wise quote, but also pretty funny. Dr. Karp says Palantir's engineers are among the top talent in the world. And again, here is some of the biggest risks that they talk about. Adoption risk. This is at least, the opinion of one Reddit commenter, which I did think was still pretty interesting. Adoption risk is a big thing for Palantir. Brilliant engineers very often build overwhelming products that go unused by the market. If you just leave it to them, Palantir's engineers, you will have a very interesting product that has a total addressable market of 10 people. So they have some of the most talented engineers in the world, but it's getting them to focus on the right products, on the right projects, on the right kind of innovation. And there, there's definitely two sides of things. There is the engineering side, the R&D side, the creation of awesome products, but then there also is the marketing of these products and getting somebody to buy your products at the end of the day. You don't just want to create cool stuff. You want to, if you're investing in a stock of a company, you want that company to make money more so than just create cool stuff that doesn't make money. So I think that's awesome and really, really great to hear, if you are a shareholder or a potential shareholder, an investor, whatever. And then there's the key man risk, which is also very, very big. Karp, the biggest products we've built, I've personally interacted with the person who has built them extremely regularly. If the person who can build product X leaves, that product will stall or die. Now, I don't know if that means it will stall or die or if it just could stall or die, but that is a definite risk, when you are talking about such complicated, crazy, projects and products and all these awesome things. But really, really cool to hear from Alex Karp himself, and it's definitely an interview you guys should check out if you are interested in Palantir stock. A lot of, awesome tidbits of information in that, but, it is, it's kind of long, but, if you have time, maybe throw it on in the background, something like that. We do have this from Seeking Alpha. Is Palantir stock a buy or sell at its current valuation? I'll go over some of the key points here in the summary. Palantir stock, I didn't mean to click on that. Palantir stock has declined by more than 60% from its record price at about a year ago due to mounting macroeconomic headwinds. some of the stuff we've already talked about. The NASDAQ continuing to climb lower and lower, all the risks in the world right now. Investors have been migrating away from high valuation growth stocks, especially those in emerging technologies, as pandemic era policy support dwindles with tightening monetary policy potential on the horizon. Again, a lot of those economic issues and stuff, potential headwinds. Yet there have been no material changes to the bull thesis supporting Palantir's growth trajectory. The company continues to be well positioned for growth opportunities arising from digitization trends. Paired with its debt-free balance sheet, robust cash on hand, continued strength in generating cash from operations, and high visibility revenues, Palantir makes a favorable investment ahead of the upcoming rate hikes, with promising upside realizable over both the near and long term. That's very, very exciting. That's great to hear from Seeking Alpha. Again, it's just, one site or one group of people's, or maybe even one person's, kind of opinions, but it's interesting. We also have this from the Motley Fool. What is a better buy, Palantir or Snowflake? And I'll get down to the bottom where they talk about revenue and expense profiles are important when evaluating an investment. In the case of Palantir and Snowflake, there is one metric that really underscores the potential growth for these two data analytics providers. Per the Q3 2021 financials, Snowflake's remaining performance obligations, RPO, grew 94% year over year to $1.8 billion. By comparison, Palantir's grew from $321.6 million to $873.9 million in September 2021, representing 170% year over year growth. They are claiming that RPO is an important key performance indicator for the momentum of a business. For recurring revenue businesses, the pace at which future revenue momentum is growing can serve as a valuable sign for the prospects of the business. So, they're saying by at least one metric, and what they claim to be a very, very important metric, Palantir is growing amazingly and even better than some of their competitors or some of the companies they're compared to. At the time of this writing, Palantir trades for 25 times its trailing 12-month sales compared to Snowflake's 107. Although both companies offer unique industry-leading solutions, Palantir's sales strategy appears to have established a more robust financial profile for long-term success. As the company expands margins, it should be able to reinvest an influx of capital into product development. While they hover near 52-week low, the fundamentals suggest that now may be a good time to buy Palantir on the dip. Again, this is not me telling you to buy Palantir. This is not me telling you not to buy Palantir. I'm not giving any financial advice here. I'm just letting you know what some of the people out there are saying. There are people out in the markets right now suggesting that Palantir might, at the very, very least, be a company worth looking at right now, especially, hey, maybe next week we're down 10, 20, 30% more. This week was rough. In the last 5 days, we're down 15%. And again, these same people that were buying Palantir at 30, at 28, 25, 20, 18, 15, whatever, maybe the company's worth taking a look at $13. Because again, not much specific bad PLTR news has come out, at least just yet. Maybe in the next, coming earnings report or whatever, we'll get tons of bad news or bad guidance or something like that. But at this time, Palantir seems to be the same company as when it was trading at these higher values and higher multiples and all that stuff. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about PLTR. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then.